Guys, it's me again. Now, with August, the opening month finished in the Premier League, I know we've got the international break. Whenever we've missed it for how long, and now you want to end it already. These things always come around. I really hate the international break, but it is a significant one with the World Cup next year. But we might as well review the sides now and review, well, mainly the big sides performances. Let's start with United. I believe they're first in the table. Correct me if I'm wrong. Goal difference of 9 points. They were very good this time last year, and it didn't go well. So you'd like to think Jose isn't a man that makes the same mistake twice, unlike some. So he's going to think about that, remind the players of that. Because of this as well, he's brought in Zlatan for the experience to remind these players. Lacazette, Lukaku, say what you want, banter him 20 goals or whatever, guaranteed. Pogba looks like he's playing, taking it up another level. And last year he was deeper, more on the left. You see more on the right with the freedom. Matic, so far so good, added what they've been lacking. Yeah, man, clean sheet, scoring, yeah, man, doing their thing. So they're looking hard. Pogba, like I said, Romeo, Lukaku, Martial's coming off the bench and taking his chances. Rashford looking hot. Mkhitaryan, I believe, can go up several levels, but he's getting some assists. And everybody looks like they can score on that side, and there's a free-flowing side, and creativity's been enabled so far for Manchester United. Defensively, they're looking good as well. Jones is so far looking good, looking to be a solid defender. You know, Bailly, I tell you guys all the time, needs no introduction. I'm not been impressed with Blind. He's been decent, but yeah, De Gea when called upon's been good. Valencia's just carried on. So yeah, man, they're looking good. Next, Liverpool are second, I believe, 7 points. They smacked us. Who doesn't? They smacked us, tore us a new one. You saw Mane and things. Mane started the season brightly, but I'm not convinced with Liverpool so far defensively. They're as poor as us. We flattered them today, of course, because we're crap. But they turned up. They looked shaky against Watford. I believe they drew that game. They look shaky against Palace and they struggle to break them down. They're not again. All these sides are not match fit, so we need to see 6-7 games in what every side's looking at. But I mean, Liverpool are looking shaky. But at the end of the day, they've drew one. They've drew 1-2, done their thing, to be honest. So yeah, so far so good for them. City, they beat. Was it Brighton they played? They're always expecting to beat Brighton. They were camped in their own half. Brighton, newly promoted side. City, millions of players. The class and quality, no disrespect to the Brighton players, is different. They were always expected to win that. And I remember watching that game as a case of when they broke them down, they won that. I believe they only played 3 games, so Everton gave them trouble. They drew. They needed Sterling to come ahead, and on the weekend they beat Bournemouth, but they needed saving from that, if I'm not mistaken. So that's two. That's 2 wins, I believe, and a draw. But they still look shaky defensively for me. I believe that's City's results. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty tired. But yeah, they still look a bit shaky defensively for me. Company was a bit suspect. They're still messing around with their squad and they're still trying to find their best squad. Danilo looks like an okay addition and he's been so far so good. Whether it's been on the left, on the right, or in midfield, like he's shown. So yeah, they're looking so far so good. But for me, he really needs a centre half. They can still win the league without one, but for me, I can really see one with a centre half, really, because you're banking on a lot of guys being fit. But so far, so good for City. Spurs, Kane is annoying me. My fantasy man, Kane, you need to score. He didn't score in August. Hopefully September, it's back to business. I believe they're ninth or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. They they weren't that. I weren't impressed with Spurs in the first half against Newcastle, but they went up a level. It was their first game of the season, and they ultimately got the 3 points. They not unfortunately, but in regards to Spurs, for Spurs fans in the context of that, unfortunately they lost to Chelsea when they drew and they threw it away. And then I mean they lost. Sorry, they lost. They threw it away from a drawing position, and they threw away 3 points today against Burnley. I mean, that's Pochettino's not going to be happy with that. They were a side extremely good defensively and things of that nature. But Spurs are looking decent as well. Again, we can't read too much into the Premier League. Why do I keep saying transfer? I'm tired, guys. Into the Premier League table. So yeah, they've made some good additions, and Kane, you like to think he started off slow, but I mean he's won the league, he's won the top goal scorer boot thing twice in 2 seasons. So regardless of if he gives people a head start, he's always going to be up there. Delhi scoring. They look. Ericsson started off brightly. Yeah, man, they've made some additions, so they're looking good. Us now, the other sides, they're looking cool. Do you see where it stops now? Us, Arsenal, 16th, poor. I don't know if it's right, but we've actually only spent 4 million altogether. I know it's 52 on Lacazette, but if we cut all the fees and things, I don't even know, and all the profits and things, it's only been 4 mil. I just saw it on Twitter. I don't really know how the person calculated it, so don't read too much into that. But if it's true, it would be something up Arsenal Street, selling ourselves shortly yet again. were bullish at the start of the year. Like, yeah, transfer window, we're gonna get Lacazette, we're gonna try to get Mbappe, we're gonna get Lamar, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and the other, nothing's happened. Not improved defensively. It's the same old, same old. A big problem last year was away form. Two tests fresh in our minds last year, learning from last year. 2 tests away from home, spanked, tore new ones. Think about how much mileage Liverpool is to Stoke. I don't know my geography too tough in that aspect, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty far apart. In 2 weeks, we've done so much mileage to put in poor performances, and players need to be questioning themselves whether they want to be here or not. Even if you want to leave, you need to question yourself as an individual if you are good enough. We need a miracle. We need a centre mid. We need a lot of other stuff, but I believe we need a centre mid before we need, not even before we need anything, for any chance, because we just, I don't know, man. The less said about Arsenal, the better. We haven't looked convincing in any of the games, whether it's the one we won against Leicester, which we really wouldn't have won it against a better side that plays better, like you saw with Stoke, and like you saw with Liverpool, and we didn't turn up. So, yeah, we spoke about we need to start the season off strongly, 86 points or whatever, and all of this, learning from the mistakes. Seeing is believing, and although it's only 2 games, and if we went and won the league again, big if, and probably never going to happen, if it happened, we'd look back cool. But if it's Arsenal and previous history doesn't lie, and if we listen to history, what history is telling us, that isn't going to happen. So we are in some big trouble. We can get top 4 with these players if they start thinking like quality. If they start thinking like quality players and they start thinking like winners, the manager stops this sentiment crap. But again, this is wishful thinking. So yeah, the less said about Arsenal, the better. We're relying on the same players as well, and we're arguably in the most trouble out of everybody, all the sides, big sides I'm talking about. So away from 16th place, Arsenal, disgrace. Chelsea, they lost their opening game, and I believe they've won their last 2, convincing win against Everton and a convincing win, well, not even a convincing win against Spurs, but certain individuals played convincingly. Morata looks like he's settling in. I think he got a goal and assist. Cesc is on fire. They're defending their title. Willian looks like he's on fire. Pedro looks like he's on fire. Kante started off strongly. Bakayoko's still adapting. Yeah, man, there's rumours they're still going to add some additions. Conte's a man that breeds excellence and doesn't rest on his laurels and get complacent. So you'd like to think they're still going to be up there and defending their title with all they've got. So in conclusion, we are the only side that look like they're in real trouble. I'm sure Spurs would like to be doing better, and I'm sure City would like to be more convincing. But we are the only sides, and Liverpool, but we are the only side, and you've heard Jose, before I get into it, but you've even heard Jose say he'd like to see his side tested from losing positions and things like that. So we can't write too many conclusions. But we are the only side looking like we're in some nonsense. The side that arguably needed to do the most work and have the best start possible. We saw the fine margins of finishing 1 point behind Liverpool last year. Do we not learn? No, we don't, because we're Arsenal. But guys, Deluded Gooner, I'm out. August assessment. I will do these if you lot want these more as the months goes on. And yeah, man, if you want anything, I'm here. Deluded Gooner, I'm out. Thank you for watching.